In this tutorial, we want to look at a very important tool in Blender, which is called the loop cut. I'm using the version of Blender that I'm using is 0.90.1. So now let's just use the cube that comes when we open Blender at the beginning, and then I will just go here and scale it a bit. Let's make it a bit smaller, and then maybe I extend it a bit so that it makes it easier for you to see. Now for us to use the loop cut, it's just the name is like it makes a loop around something and cuts it so that you can adjust some parts of it. So it's normally we can get it through when we go to the edit mode. When you get to the edit mode, you can either come here and use it, or you can use Ctrl R, come to loop cuts, and then when you come here, it indicates this yellowish rectangle, and then you can left click your mouse and place it there, but you need to choose where you want the cut to be. In case you want the cut here, you move your hand there with your left hand, still pressing the mouse. If you want it somewhere here, I leave it somewhere here. Now if in case I want to do another one, let's do another one in the opposite direction. We can do it vertically and horizontally, so I'm now doing it vertically. You see I can slide here or there, and then if I want it here, I just leave it. It has already done a cut. When you do that, you get this thing opened here, so you can now adjust it. In case I don't want only a cut, but I want 2 or 3 cuts, I can just press this, and then it keeps introducing cuts for me. If I just want one, I just maintain it. You can also increase the smoothness by let's make it a bit if it's 1, it's a bit difficult for you to see the smoothness, but I would increase it by 5, and then as you increase the smoothness, it becomes like a bulges a bit, becomes like something like this. This is trying to smoothen things out, like if you have a sphere or something like that. And as you go back, it's if you reduce it, it becomes smaller and smaller. You can go to minus something if you want, for example minus 0.5 or so, and then you see that it shrinks it in. And now we have the fall off. This indicates which kind of you can either choose inverse square, you can choose smooth, you can choose sphere, depending on what you want. You can just try your hands on it and then choose whichever is adequate for whatever you are doing. I'm normally using what comes by default, that is the inverse square. And when you come to the factor here, when you move to it, just moves this up and down. Let's just change the smoothness and make it just 0, and then as I move it moves to a direction, so you can adjust wherever you want it the thing to be. If you are in 0, it stays as how it was. So more or less that you can play around with this as well, and then you can choose whether you want it evenly cut or not. You can play around with this depending on actually what we have here is so uniform, it's difficult for you to see. But if you have something which is not uniform, you can see it very clearly. So this is basically how you can use the loop cut if you use it from here. Now I'll also talk, I want to just let's just reduce this to 1, so I tell you something about something in the loop cut. Now you can either choose loop cut or offset edge loop cut. When you choose offset edge loop cut, what will happen is that we have our edge now of you see it now picks the edge which was in the middle there and does an offset in the left or in the right side, so you get two cuts. Now it was, if you see here, I have now offset edge slide, and in the same manner you can also, in this way you can also increase the factor. Let's say if I put something like 1 here, you see that it moves to the edge totally, and then when you increase it, you decrease it, because I let's put our 0.3, then it comes back to it, and in the same it has the even, and then you can also make it like this, or you can flip depending on your figure. It will, you see how it behaves more or less. So this is basically how you can use the loop cut. Why is it important? For example, let's say I've done some cutting here. It's important because you can use it to now initially I had something which is very plain and I couldn't move some parts, but let's say I have something like this, and now I'm trying to maybe build a table, and I want to have maybe the legs of the table. Maybe I put one more. I think it's okay, or I go to edge. Here I go to shift and then a face, let's select the faces, and I just give it a subdivision a bit, upside divide 1, so that I get some pieces where I can now extrude some to get, in case I want to build something like a table, I can just come and say that now I'm going to select some parts of it and let it be the legs. So maybe I come here, I go to shift, I want to take this away. Maybe the legs, let's place the legs, maybe this not, maybe we put the legs maybe somewhere here. I mean, it's not conducive, but it's just to show you how you can use it. And now I can come to something like extrude, and then I extrude this, and then I have something like a table's leg. Now when I change this and go to the objects mode, let's say I want to rotate this, I rotate it to this direction. I should have just rotated in there, yes, something like this. Now I have a table that let's leave it like this, more or less. You can also use the gizmo here to rotate it more or less. Yeah, so now I have something like a table that I've built, because I could just cut something, use the loop cuts to cut something. And now if in case maybe we want to do something here, let's see, just move this away a bit so that you can see what we are doing. Now I've changed from here, from this mode here to this mode here, to the material preview, just for us to see, and then let's go to the material property, and then let's give it some kind of color also. Just it has something to do with what we learned today, but it's always good to learn something also new. So we go here, and then let's give it something like I don't know, should we give it a magic texture? We can choose anything. Let's give it checker texture, for example. Yeah, so you see it goes quickly. If you use that, then you can build something like this. So this is basically how you can use the loop cut in Blender. Thank you for watching. If this helped you in any way, please help me by subscribing to my channel, and please give this video a like. Thank you. Bye.